Hi, and welcome to this edition of Dublin City Schools Today. I'm your host, Maddie Irelan.
I'm Maddie Irelan.
And I'm Kelly Murphy.
I recently had a chance to visit Central Office and sit down with Dr. Axner to discuss several things going on in the district. Here's a look at that conversation.
Dr. Axner, thank you for joining me.
Good to see you, Maddie.
So I've heard the district has been working on some upgrades in our security. Can you tell me a little bit about why that's being done?
Well, as you know, since really 2008, we invested some money with our entranceways and really looked at making our buildings more secure. But to be honest, I think the incident in the elementary building at Sandy Hook really did make a difference nationally on tightening security up.
And can you tell me what types of upgrades the district has put into place?
Sure. There's been a number of changes that really are very different in regards to how you used to enter a school building. Probably one of the biggest and the one people will notice the most initially will be that you can no longer enter a school building without being buzzed in or approved in regards to that person manning the door. In the old days, you would be directed right into the office. You couldn't go into classrooms or anything, but you could enter the office. And that has changed, so now people will have to buzz in. There's an audio system that people then will be able to state their business and be buzzed in or not.
I have heard that the governor has released some new school funding information. What does this mean for our district?
Well, one thing to remember about the school funding model that was released by our governor, it's temporary, as it'll still have to go through the House and the Senate and to final approval. So that's going to take a few months. But the initial release was actually positive for Dublin, and that's a good thing. And it's nothing that will take away school levies. It may help to stretch levies out in the future. But the good news is where we anticipated losing some funds, we didn't. One big piece is the TPPT, which is the tangible personal property tax. And our districts gets a little over $4 million a year. And that is going to continue to be replaced. So we thought for sure in that budget to lose at least a portion of that in these next 2 years. So that's good news to the district. The other thing is the guarantee, that block of money that we get from the state and have got the same amount pretty much since the 90s. We anticipated losing a portion of that, but that stayed also. So as it sits today, we actually get an increase, and that's good news to Dublin schools. But like I said, we've got a long way to go, as there are some schools that are that did lose some funds, and they're fighting pretty hard to get that back. So we'll see where the balance is.
And now will the district be pursuing the innovation grants that are part of the budget?
That's a big part of this release, and that might be the most exciting part. But $300 million have been set aside as the budget sits today for innovation grants. And that's a large amount of money that our team actually we're already looking at different ways to submit proposals to be able to bring that back to the district. And the way you'll get that money is if you and your staff come up with an idea and a proposal that will eventually save dollars down the road. So maybe, for example, our online learning can be, help us, reduce what would be additional staffing needs down the future and reduce costs long term. So we will be all over that, and hopefully that money stays in the budget as it sits today.
And so, as I understand, the budget isn't the only change for the state this year. Our district will also be receiving letter grades soon?
We will. The grading system now is going to change, and it's actually going to change in the current year we're in. So we're trying to run the race, and in the middle of the race, they've changed the rules a little bit. So what will no longer be is excellent with distinction, excellent, and those different categories. And what the governor's office has tried to do is simplify the results. So what happens now is a district will be, and buildings will be rated A, B, C, D, and F. The categories will change a little bit, and I can tell you it'll be a little more rigorous, but it'll look very different than what we've known in the past. The first year now, which we're in now, there won't be a district rating or grade. So they'll look at buildings and see where they are in evaluation, but they're going to hold off a year giving us letter grades, as this came pretty quickly.
And when will we see a new report card?
Well, the new system actually will be next year. So next year, you know, the report cards for this current year we're in probably won't be released until September. So that's a month later than they normally are. And then the following year, you'll see the full district report card of A, B, C, D, and F.
And how are you expecting our district to do?
Well, I think we'll do well, but I will tell you that with the new Common Core curriculum that is coming, you know, and is currently being adopted in the district and in most other states, the standards are much more rigorous. So testing is going to be a little more difficult. With that, at the same time, they've raised the bar. So saying that students, even with a tougher curriculum, are going to have to test a little higher. I think it'll be tough. I think you'll still be able to compare us with the schools and the districts that we always have. I would anticipate, you know, that it will be much harder to receive that what was excellent distinction and now an A that first year. But I think you've got to just take it one day at a time and 1 year at a time and try to improve each year.
All right, Dr. Axner, thanks for taking time to talk to me today.
Thank you, Maddie. Good to be with you today.
Daniel Wright Elementary recently held an event promoting literacy, and many community leaders were in attendance. Here's more. On Wednesday, April 3rd, Daniel Wright Elementary School was home to a special event that saw members of the community gather in order to read to students. The event was organized by the Dublin AM Rotary, a group whose members work tirelessly to encourage literacy one student at a time.
Wright Elementary is Dublin's most diverse school. There's 21 languages spoken here. And of Dublin schools, it's perhaps the one that has the least economic advantages and the lowest crawl scores. That's kindergarten readiness. So Rotary has a special relationship with Daniel Wright. Every week, in the honor of our speakers, we give the library a book. And for the last 2 years, we've tried to reach out just a little bit more and create some real excitement about reading here at Daniel Wright. Rotary feels that a literate community is more likely to be peaceful and prosperous, and we'd love to give these kids a head start on being lifelong learners.
During the Rotary's reading event at Wright Elementary, elected officials, representatives from Dublin City Schools, city staff members, Rotarians, and many more took turns reading to a group of students from a book called Zooborns. Each volunteer was given a page to read featuring a zoo animal and a little info about its life, ensuring that those students on hand learned a little something along the way.
I think it was really great to have people from the community come in. Far too often, you know, they hear from our teachers how important reading is, and I think sometimes they tend to shy away from it because that's our job as educators, to tell them how important reading is. But to have people come in from the outside, very important people, express to them and share with them how reading has helped them, and to hear them read, I think it really hits home. It lets the students know that, hey, it's not just my teachers, it's not just my parents, but people in the community, very successful people, have gotten where they are because they've become readers and learners.
As an added bonus, following the reading of Zooborns, the Columbus Zoo provided a variety of animals featured in the book in order to enhance their reading experience. The animals were taken around from student to student, while an expert gave further details about their lives, and it goes without saying that the students enjoyed the hands-on lesson. At the very end of the day, each student present at the event was given their very own copy of Zooborns, in the hopes that they will continue their reading at home. All who attended the event were proud to do their part to further literacy in the city of Dublin, a cause that is near and dear to many of their hearts.
Well, this is my second year participating in this event, and I feel very strongly about reading because communication is the key, I think, to all success. And I think I'm very proud of the Dublin Rotary and the Metropolitan Library for all they do for these children.
Anyone will tell you that, you know, reading is the absolute foundation of everything you're going to do from now until forever. So I think reading is, as a skill, immensely important. But more than that, it's as a kid, and still do, I love to read. I can bury myself in a book and get lost and take me to different places and learn different things and experience things that I'll never get to experience. And it's really fun to see that excitement, and so you just want to keep building on it. I think that's what today is all about.
That's it for this edition of Dublin City Schools Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.